lesson 10.7, elapsed time part 2. Okay, here we're gonna talk about elapsed time, which means we're gonna talk about, for example, if you begin something at a certain hour, okay, and you stayed on that something for like 2 hours, okay, then at what time did you exactly end up? This is the form of the questions that are going to pop up regarding this topic, okay? Okay, we have to know some stuff before we begin. We have to know some stuff. First of these stuff is the shapes of the clocks. Here I have this clock. It's called an analog clock. Analog clock, okay? The one that has the arrows and the circular thing and everything, okay? Take note that here, these are the numbers of the hours. 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and 11. And then 12 again, okay? And between each number and the other one, okay, we have 5 minutes. These are 5 minutes. These 5 minutes for the long arrow, okay? For the small arrow, these are the hours. These numbers are the hours, okay? And for the long arrow, these are the minutes. Between 12 and 1, you have 5 minutes, and between 1 and 2, you have 5 minutes. Okay, so when an hour passes, an hour equals 60 minutes. So this whole thing, when this long arrow takes this whole travel, that means an hour passed, okay? This is the digital clock, okay? It looks like this. If you have a digital clock, this is how you're gonna see the time, okay? So here it's 12:05, which is exactly what is represented here. It's 12:05, okay? 12 and 5 minutes. Here it's 12 and 5 minutes as well. So this represents the hours, and this represents the minutes. Okay, what about this, the AM? AM or PM represents if it's night or day. If it's AM, then it's day, it's morning. If it's PM, it's night, it's evening. Okay? Okay. Important notes. Okay, if your clock is standing at AM and the hour past 12 and the hour past 12, okay? Like 12:05 here, it just passed 12, okay? Then the clock switches from AM to PM, okay? If you're standing already at PM, okay? Like for example, if it's 11:45 PM and then the clock became 12:01, then it changes to AM, okay? Then it changes to morning. Okay, so if I'm standing at 12, if the small arrow is standing at 12, okay, and then the small arrow goes the whole way around and then strikes 12 again, the day changes from night to day or from day to night. Okay? Okay, here is an example. If I'm standing at 12:05 AM and 65 minutes have passed, after 65 minutes, what time is it? Is it going to be then? So I'm gonna have to add these 65 minutes to the 5 that I already have, right? So 65 plus 5 is 70. But I don't have 70 in the minute part. In the minute part, I don't have the number 70. The maximum is 59. Okay, because after 59, it's 60. That means an hour have passed. So the hour goes in the hour part. So the number goes in the hour part. We're gonna know about that later, okay? But here I have 65 plus 5, 70. 70, and I'm gonna take 60 out of them and put them in the hour part, okay? And put the rest here. So 60. If I take 60 out of 70, I get a 10, okay? So it's a 10 in the minute part, okay? And it's 1 in the hour part. Why is it 1 in the hour part? Because after 12, I took the 60 minutes and I put them in the hour part as 1 in the hour part, as a +1 in the hour part. I took the 60 minutes and I put them as a +1 in the hour part. Here I had 12. What comes after 12? 1. So I changed this one to 1. Okay, here is an example of how the questions are going to show, okay? Finding the end time. Okay, Omar started studying at 9:17 AM. He studied for 2 hours and 15 minutes. At what time did Omar finish studying? Okay, so the first step is we add the minutes to the minutes. Omar started at 9:17 AM, okay? And he spent 2 hours and 15 minutes studying. So I'm gonna add the 15 to the 17 first. So here I have 17 plus 15. I get a 32. These are the minutes, okay? 32 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna have to check. Is it less than 60 or did it pass 60? No, it's less than 60, so I'm gonna leave them as they are. I'm gonna put them in the answer as they are. Okay, so I'm gonna take the 2 minutes and put them here. Okay, second part is I add the hours to each other. Here Omar started at 9 and he spent 2 hours. Okay, Omar started at 9 and he spent 2 hours. So I'm gonna add 9 to 2. Okay, I get an 11. These are the hours. Okay, I'm gonna have to check. Is it less than 12? Yes, it is. Why do I ask if it's less than 12? Because if it's less than 12, it means that I'm gonna have to leave it as it is. We are still in the morning. If it didn't pass 12, then we're still in the morning. So I'm gonna put the 11 just as it is. So the answer is 11:32 a.m. Omar finishes studying at 11:32 a.m. Okay, here's another example. Ahmed had a meeting that began at 10 a.m. The meeting took 3 hours 30 minutes. At what time did Ahmed finish the meeting? Okay, so we talked about this in the previous example. First, add the minutes. So Ahmed started at 10 a.m. Okay, so it's 00 in the minutes. In the minutes section, it's 00. And the meeting took 3 hours and 30 minutes. So I have 0, 0 plus 30, which is 30. Okay, so it's 30 minutes. Now, you're gonna have to check, is 30 less than 60? Yes, it is. So the minutes stay as they are. Okay? Okay, now let's go to the hours. We're gonna have to add the hours. I have 10, okay? And Ahmed started at 10, and then the meeting took him 3 hours. So it's 10 plus 3, which gives us 13. Okay, is 13 bigger than 12? Yes, it is. That means that I'm gonna take away. It's bigger than 12. So that means that I'm gonna take away 12. Okay? So 13 minus 12 is 1. 3 minus 2 is 1, and 1 minus 1 is 0. So it's 1. And I changed the clock from AM to PM. Okay? So the hour section is going to have 1, and the minute section is going to have 30, and the clock changes from AM to PM, because here I just passed 12, and we talked about this. If I am standing at AM and I pass 12, okay, it switches to PM. So the answer is 1:30 PM. Okay, let's see this in the analog clock. Here is the time that Ahmed started the meeting in. It's 10. Okay, it's 10, exactly 10 o'clock. It's 10 o'clock, okay? So the small arrow is on 10 and the long arrow is on 12. Okay, Ahmed took 3 hours and 30 minutes. Okay, we're gonna move the long arrow first, 30 minutes. So it goes from here all the way to here. Okay, and it took him 30 minutes and 3 hours. So I'm gonna move the small arrow from here. This is an hour, another hour, and then another hour. So it stands here. The small arrow stands here. So it's 1:30. 1:30. And since I began in the morning, Ahmed began in the morning, okay? And the small arrow passed 12, the clock changed from AM to PM. So the answer is 1:30 PM. Okay, another example. Here I have David went on a trip. It started at 9:35 a.m. The trip took 5 hours and 25 minutes. At what time was the trip done? Okay? So, I'm gonna take a look at the beginning time. Here, I have 35 in the minutes section, and it's already in the morning. Okay? The trip took 5 hours and 25 minutes. Here I have 25 minutes. Okay, add the minutes first. Add the minutes. Okay, so it's 35 plus 25. 5 plus 5 is 10, so it's 0 and carry up 1. 3 plus 2 is 5, and I have 1 in the carry up, so it's 6. So that means it's 60 minutes. And I cannot write 60 minutes in the minute section. Okay? This is equal or greater than 60. Okay? This is equal to 60. So that means if I take away this 60, so 60 minus 60, because I'm gonna put this 60 in the hour section, I get a 0, 0, which is what I'm going to write in the minute section. So here it's 0, 0. Okay? Again, 35 plus 25 gave me a 60. Okay, a 60 minutes is a full hour. That means it's 0, 0 in the minute section, and I'm gonna add an hour in the hour section. Okay, so I have an hour to add as a carry up. Okay, I have an hour to add. Okay, now let's get to the hours part. I started at 9, the trip started at 9, and it took 5 hours, so it's 9 plus 5. 9 plus 5 is 14. Okay, and I have a carry up of 1 hour from the 60 section. Okay, so it's plus 1, gives me 15. And since 15 is bigger than 12, I'm gonna have to subtract 12 out of the 15, and this will give me 3. Okay, and by that, I'm gonna change the hour from AM. I'm gonna change the time from AM to PM, because it just passed 12. Okay, the number just passed 12. Okay, and I have 3 in the hour section. Why is it 3 in the hour section? Because I had 9, the trip started at 9, and it took 5 hours, so it's 9 plus 5 is 14. And since the minutes give me 60, that means it's exactly 1 hour. Okay, so I'm gonna add this 60, I'm gonna remove it from the minute section, and I'm gonna add it as a full hour in the hour section. So it's 14, the 14 that I got from here, plus the 1 hour. It's 15, okay? Gives me 15. And then 15, I subtracted 12 out of it, because the 15 is bigger than 12. So I'm gonna have to subtract 12 and change the clock from AM to PM. And after I subtracted 12, I got 3. Okay, which is the time now, which is the time that the trip is done. Okay, let's see that problem in the analog clock. The beginning time was 9:35. So the small arrow was looking at 9 and the big arrow was looking at 35. How do I know where 35 minutes is on the analog clock? I'm gonna have to start from here, which is 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. So it's here. Okay, the long arrow is looking here at the 7. Okay, and the trip took 5 hours and 25 minutes. 5 hours and 25 minutes. Okay, let's see the 25 minutes first. Okay, I'm standing at 7, I'm gonna add 25 minutes, so that means 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So now the small arrow, the big arrow is pointing at 12. And since the big arrow pointed at 12, that means the small arrow changed from 9 to 10. Because an hour passed. Now an hour passed. Okay, and after that I'm gonna have to look at the hours. I began at 9, okay, and since 35 plus 25 gave me an hour, now I begin at 10, okay, and I finished at 5. That means I took 5 hours. That means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the small arrow is here now. It's looking at the 3. So the ending time is 3 o'clock. The small arrow is pointing at 3 and the big arrow is pointing at 12. Okay?